So DBD's latest killer, kaneki, has been a very hot topic of discussion recently. A lot of people within the community seem to be very disgruntled over kaneki's pick rate. Players have been expressing that it feels like almost every single match they've played recently has been against kaneki. But the question is, why is this a problem? I mean, obviously everybody and their mother is going to be playing the brand new killer just after release, right? I mean, doesn't this just mean behavior made a fun killer? Why is it that this killer in particular seems to be causing such outrage throughout the community? Well, I think this issue is actually a lot deeper than it may appear on the surface, and it speaks to some pretty big issues within the game and its developmental design and philosophy as a whole. So in order to find our answer, I think we must first discuss why exactly so many players enjoy playing him so much to begin with, because we've had plenty of new killers released recently, but none have been nearly as popular amongst the killer base as this one. See, I think there are three big key factors at play here, and they are very simple. We don't even need to overcomplicate this. Number one, he's fun to play. Number two, he's strong. And number three, and this is a big one, he's accessible. See, though he's very strong and an absolute blast to play, kaneki has a very low skill floor and a very high skill ceiling. This makes him accessible and appealing to players of all skill levels, especially those who are newer or who don't have as much time to dedicate to get good at a killer with a higher skill floor, who may pair similarly in strength such as Blight or Nurse. Now, I want you all to ask yourselves, how long has it been since we've had a killer check all of these boxes? I'd argue DBD's last killer that was a big hit with the killer base to this degree and really had that wow factor was Wesker. And let me remind you, Wesker released in 2022. You feel old as balls yet? That's almost 3 years since we've had a killer of this caliber come to the game. Now let's go over DBD's latest additions to the killer roster ever since Wesker dropped, shall we? First up, we've got the Knight. Mid-tier strength, buggy, poorly designed, not fun. Skull Merchant, boring, poorly designed, incredibly weak. Singularity, strong, but his skill floor was way too high. The Xenomorph, mid-tier strength, not very fun, too easy for survivors to counter, also just got nerfed. Chucky was strong and fun, but then he got nerfed and then he wasn't strong or fun. The Unknown is definitely pretty fun, but is overall mid-tier in strength, and the ability feels way too clunky and inconsistent at times. He just didn't quite keep up with the other ranged killers on the roster. Vecna was a snooze fest, not super weak, but not super strong. Didn't really bring anything that blew anybody's dick off, kind of just mid all around. Dracula was just unoriginal, strong, but ultimately unoriginal. We've seen his abilities before because his abilities were just the abilities of other killers we've already been playing for years, just with a slight twist and rolled into one package. And then we have our latest killer, and arguably one of the worst newest additions to the roster, the Houndmaster. This killer was so janky and buggy upon release, I don't even know where to begin with her. I get that she's strong and finally playable now after her long overdue changes, but she is genuinely just one of the most mind-numbingly unfun killers in the game despite her strengths. And see, contrary to popular belief, strength isn't everything, and that's why we've had multiple strong killers that have been newly introduced to the game essentially flop in pick rates. If the killer isn't also fun to play and accessible to players of all skill levels, then they will only appeal to a very niche part of the killer community. Now, I definitely wouldn't say that those killers I just previously mentioned were all poorly designed by any means. I just say that the community reception wasn't overwhelmingly positive towards them, like with what we saw in a killer like Wesker or kaneki. It was always just sort of a resounding, this will be fun for a week or two, then I'll go back to playing my main. Essentially, what I'm saying is these newer killers being released recently just have not been passing the vibe check, and so after years of being neglected of a killer who's simultaneously both strong, fun, and accessible, we have kaneki. The home run behavior has been swinging for almost 3 years now, and they knocked it clean out of the park. But now they put themselves in a pretty tricky situation where they seem to be suffering from not just their own success, but their own failures as well, as this long streak of mid killers are what has made the killer community so rabid and ready to pounce at the new big hit killer, and survivors are just sick of seeing him all the time. From my point of view, kaneki feels like the person at Behavior who designed him actually understands the current landscape and meta of the game from a killer's perspective. His kit essentially completely nullifies all of the things killer mains hate dealing with the most in the game currently. Trust me, nobody likes playing a match where survivors are pre-running across the map the first nanosecond the killer's tear radius is in the general vicinity, just to never have a single opportunity to actually play tiles and use their abilities at loops, because all everybody's doing is just pre-dropping and holding W while generators fly at the speed of sound. And then you proceed to get punished for hooking because half of the strongest survivor perks in the game are activated by being hooked. hooked, then you get punished for tunneling by one of the 1000 second chance perks and items in the game, and then you also get punished for slugging by the entire lobby disconnecting, or somebody just giving up on hook the moment the killer keeps somebody on the ground for longer than 6 seconds. To put it short, this killer kind of just feels like a breath of fresh air for the killer community, because truthfully, the killer gameplay loop is just not very fun, dynamic, or engaging right now for the vast majority of killers on the roster, which by this point just feel quite predictable and stale. I mean, they've all been figured out by now. Each match just feels like the same match on repeat by this point, and Kaneki's astronomically high pick rate confronts this very fact. Now, is this the fault of survivors for optimizing their gameplay, using the tools at their disposal, and playing in a manner that proves most effective? I mean, should we beat their asses for playing like this? Should we engage in this cute little thing called mindless tribalism? Absolutely not. Players shouldn't be attacked for playing the game efficiently, and this goes for both sides. I feel like this situation within the DBD community tells a tale of misdirected hatred. Survivor mains and killer mains constantly channel their anger and frustrations towards each other when the real issue resides within behavior's struggle to create a cohesive gameplay experience that balances and rewards skill and fun over efficiency and optimization. Both sides feel perpetually victimized because behavior fucks them both over constantly, but if you only play one side, then you only have the perspective of the one side you play, so naturally you'll feel like only your side is the one getting fucked over, but ultimately the only people consistently eating good are S-tier killers and Swifts. Behavior's horrible gameplay design and philosophy are why we're currently in an era where efficiency trumps fun to begin with, and they can't seem to find a way to balance the two for both sides. It's why most killers feel like they need to camp, slug, tunnel, and play S-tier killers all day to win, and also why survivors feel like they need to play ultra safe, pre-drop and hold W, stack full meta, and play in Swifts all day to win. Both of these are the most optimal and effective ways to win a match, but both of these offer the other side an absolutely miserable gameplay experience. Alright, now let's talk about the meta in a broad sense. Whatever the meta is within a video game, people will find it and use it because you're actively working at a disadvantage if you don't, and it's human nature to gravitate towards the path of least resistance. If winning with Kaneki takes far less sweat, stress, skill, and effort than winning with Trapper, most players are going to want to play Kaneki. And if winning in a 4-man Swift takes far less sweat, stress, skill, and effort than winning in solo queue, most players are going to want to play in a Swift. I mean, can you really blame them? Don't lie, if you had any friends, you would too. Hell, I don't, that's why I play Killer. See, Dead by Daylight is a competitive game by nature. It's a PvP game. DBD is PvP. One side is competing against another side to win, so naturally, this creates a scenario in which people will bring whatever they can bring or do whatever they can do to have an advantage over the other side to increase their chances of winning, because ultimately, the whole point of the game is to win, and most people don't have a whole lot of fun losing. I just don't understand why this is such a hard concept for this community to grasp. Both sides spend all day demonizing and attacking each other relentlessly for wanting to win in a game where the objective is to win, and playing the game efficiently in order to do so. This whole debate is the dumbest, most low IQ shit ever.
Dude, what the hell, man? You're doing the generators too fast. Like, you're a piece of shit. Why are you doing your objective efficiently? You didn't even give me the chance to kill you. You're a gen rusher. You're gen rushing. That's toxic. You're toxic.
Like, brother, do you understand how fucking stupid you sound? Do I need to spit in your mouth? Stop that. Stop doing that. All right, enough. Anyways, due to the nature of DBD's design as an asymmetrical PvP game, when one side is having a whole lot of fun, it'll oftentimes be at the detriment of the other side. When killers are fondling their balls and having a blast, usually survivors aren't having the best time of their lives, and vice versa. This is extremely apparent at a micro level, like within each individual match played, but also existent at a macro level, as the meta within the game shifts towards the favor of either given side. If killers have an extremely strong meta going on like the gen kick meta or the 3-gen meta, survivors probably aren't having a whole lot of fun. And when survivors have something like the FTP buckle up meta or the MFT meta, killers probably also aren't having a whole lot of fun unless balance exists, such as one meta being equal in strength to another simultaneously. Kaneki's very existence is just another case of this very expected outcome within an asymmetrical PvP environment. We've got a killer who's fun for killer mains to play, but not fun for survivor mains to play against. The issue is, survivors have to work twice as hard to beat a Kaneki player than a Kaneki player has to work to beat them. And all of the things that typically crutch low-skilled survivor players or uncoordinated teams to win simply just aren't as effective against him. Now, I'm not going to sit here and debate whether Kaneki needs more nerfs or not based on his pick rate. I think this whole conversation has been beat to death and it's largely unproductive anyways. I kind of wanted to offer a different way to approach this whole topic, the topic of Kaneki. Think about things a little deeper, like why is his pick rate so high? What kind of message is this sending to behavior? What kind of message does this send to the player base? What does this say about the state of the game and the state of the other killers on the roster? That's the kind of angle I wanted to take this video, rather than just the surface level. Is he too stronger, or does he need a nerf? Why is he too strong? Who knows? Like, everyone's just going to debate. They have their own opinions. Everybody has different skill levels at the game. So it's just like, it's a really hard conversation to even have productively. You know what I mean? Anyways, I believe that balance is key, and in the case of designing new killers, behavior seems to really struggle quite a bit in striking a balance between strength, fun, and accessibility. And when that balance isn't properly met, it'll inevitably result in either killer mains being unhappy, survivor mains being unhappy, or both sides being unhappy. And right now, I'm seeing a lot of survivor mains very unhappy, and I'm seeing a lot of killer mains very happy. So make of that what you will. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and sub for more, and do not let me forget to mention how thankful and grateful I am for all the support you guys have been showing on my FNAF videos. That series is so fun. I've had so much fun making it, and all the love everyone's been showing in the comments and through the likes and stuff, and just the engagement has been absolutely insane to see. So thank you all so much for showing those videos some love, you know, branching out, doing some variety content a little bit. Thank you all. Yeah, let me know y'all's thoughts in the comments below. What do you guys think of this whole situation? What do you think of his pick rate? Like, what does that tell you? You know what I mean? Like, if you were behavior, what would that astronomically high pick rate tell you about your game or the player base or the killers on the roster, what have you? Anyways, like and sub for more. Stay healthy. Peace. What is this? Oh my God! Nah, I'm done.